All right, thank you so much, Star Smart, for that wonderful report on Manyu County. I would also love to add here that Manyu County they've also had a very fair share when it comes to the war, the negative sides. They've had so many massacres, they've had so many killings and all of that. But, Manyu County is also as defensive and as strong as Bowie County that we drafted for last week when it comes to defense and military expertise and all of that. Barrister Phil, we are drafting Manyu County tonight, and Manyu County, like I said, has also had its own fair share of massacres, killings. The SDOs seem at times they seem to be very active, but the people of Manyu County have shown so much resistance that sometimes I'm trying to compare Manyu County and Bowie County. There was a time the SDO, aside all the massacres, the SDO, the chairman tried to stop the ghost town in Manyu County, gave different, punishment and all of that. But people of Manu seem to be very strong, and they believe in this fight for freedom. Westerfield, what would you say about Manu County in general, especially all of the massacres that they would have gone through? Barrister first seems to be frozen. Barrister Mbeseha.
Uh, well, I think Manyu has had its own full share of the struggle. Remember, the struggle actually started there, came down. Remember the senior divisional officer of Manyu signing an order asking people to run because they were coming. Remember Bisangobang Hospital being burned down. So they had their own fair share of the punishment. But above all, we should remember Manyu for other things, especially in this struggle. We should not forget, must be reminded, that our demise, the demise of Southern Cameroon, actually started in Manyu in 1959, when the colonial master from London appointed a certain Sir Sidney Philipson to come to Mamfe and what he called an all-party conference. What was the all-party conference about? Remember that these were leading up to independence in 1959, August. They were being forced to give us independence. But this man's mission to the conference, which the Frenchers, the Endelis, everybody attended, was to tell Southern Cameroonians that they had evaluated our economy and found that we could not be independent by ourselves. In spite of all that, the people resisted. The idea of independence by joining was first announced to them in Mamfe, 1959, August. And people said, no, independent by joining, we want our own independence. These were all the political parties and activities and actors in the Southern Cameroon. They voted, give us independence, not joining Nigeria or joining Cameroon. In 1958, just 3 years, 4 years after they left the house. And the colonial master did not stop. They doubled down on the idea that Southern Cameroon was not competent enough, was not economically viable. So when you go there, you find these resolutions in 1959. After 2 months after that, they went to the United Nations. I found resolution 1345, 1349, 1350, 1352, all talking about independence by joining, against the wishes of the population that had met in Mamfe in August 1959. But above all, Manyu should be remembered for other things. Manyu, as far as Southern Cameroon is concerned, was an economic hub. Remember, we used to talk about Tico Airport, Tico Airport. There were only three airports, and Mamfe was one of them. It was called Bisangobang Airport. What is Mbeseha Airport today? They have been turned into a military camp. No plane lands there. Because Manyu was so central, called it Manfe at the time. Because at the time, there were only 6 divisions in the whole of Southern Cameroon. Kumba, Manfe, Victoria, Bamenda, Wum, and Kambe. And Manfe was in the middle. In fact, there were even talks of transferring the capital from Buea to Manfe. Because it was, I say it was an economic hub. Manyu had a port. They had the only river port in Cameroon where you could ship goods from the Cross River. They call it Cross River. And they were taken to the thing will go there. Ships were coming there. And so Manyu was such a powerful position. It has such a powerful position in our history. Now, when we go to draft it, we must not forget that Manyu, at the end of the day, we would position as an economic hub in the independent country. We should revive the Manfe Cross River port. The structures are still there. They were dilapidated. And I think they are on the pretending to be aware. I saw it 2 weeks ago. Is it up to 2 weeks? They claimed that they were going to build another hydroelectric plant in Manfe. Who was? They're the ones that have in East Cameroon. And so we should draft Manyu with the background of this history. All their resistance is well known. Their history is so well known. We are so important because the only neighbors that we could rely on, even as an independent country, was Nigeria. The shared boundary with us to Nigeria. Our other neighbors to the west, the north were Francophones. To the west was the Republic of Cameroon. Further north was Chad and Lake Chad. Also, Manyu was strategically very important for us. Economically, a viable place. Historically, something very, very important to us. And so, again, they have suffered more than enough. They have stood their grounds. In the earlier segment, I talked about people being killed in Kupi Manukuba by the Unsons. They have a lot of black legs in Manfe, but they've not gone to that level. And so Manyu is very, very powerful. Manyu is, we should go to support them however we can, morally, most particularly, and otherwise. Over to you.
We know for sure that the Manu people have a very strong resistance. They believe in the Amazonian fight. We know that for sure. But what we do not know is the strength of Manuans in the diaspora when it comes to the drafting. So, would you want to tell us what we would expect tonight? I know Commander Willie should have done that, but in his absence, do you have an idea of what we are or what we should expect from the drafting tonight? How I know for
Well,
sure Ngokentuja they draft in fact they are one of the biggest drafters. I know that record said so. But for Manu when it comes to drafting, I'm not so sure. But I know that the people are a strong force. So do you have an idea of what we will be expecting from the Manu people tonight?
I think I have a rough idea. Because based on the reports that we have received here officially from Commander Willie and other manuals, I mean, not very many, but they are so well organized. They tax themselves. Manu is not, they are very, very well organized. Well, they have told us that many times. Which is why they are standing. And so, again, we should expect something from them. I don't know how much, but one of the most important things we know that they have is the spirit. And we can only hope that their own sons and daughters will follow that spirit of the few. The devoted few, the dedicated few who are already there. In addition to the support that we shall give, because Ambazonia must be free. Ambazonia being free means every county, every town, every tree, every stream in Ambazonia must be free. It shall be our joint effort. Our trust, Manyu, from the reports I hear, I'm not taking the place of Willie. Manyu is strong, they are so well organized. And so we think they will do their best. And I think we should also support them the best that we can. Over to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Barrister Mbeseha. Thank you also for standing in the gap for Commander Willie and, all of and Barrister Fru, whose internet, I'm sure, had him cut off. All right, Barrister Mbeseha. So before we go, what would be your last words for tonight?
Well,
For those who are
my
supposed
last
to be
word,
drafting too as well.
yeah, my last word for tonight is we have to draft. And I've said here many times before that we have all these things that we talk. Okay? People are following us. And so when we talk about these elections, and we quote again Dr. Martin Mongwa, which says the boycott is both strategic and yes, many everybody goes to vote, but the world is listening to us. That though they'll come out with the results, I've said it. Even we don't like it, the result they want. But the world will know that we did not participate. The whole world will know that we are resisting, not submitting, which is what is important for the world to know. It is important for us to send this message out because we are looking for support around the world. And so we know they will not involve. I know that in my own area, because I doubt if there will be a ballot box there. Nobody will vote there. If you are the one who go to China, will go and vote there. But yeah, they will come out with the result they want. And so it will be the same thing in other areas of Amazonia. And so drafting for Manyu, just like we drafted for Bui and other places, is a sign of resistance that will counter the submission to the election. Let us all put our hands together, support Manyu, draft. So the way you seen us draft, the world will notice that we are resisting this thing, not submitting to the cowardice. Because if we wanted just money from Yaoundé, now they will give us. They give us to buy us for the elections. But we don't need their money. We need our own effort to show that we are resisting their occupation, we are resisting their oppression, we are resisting their genocide. And so Bazonian will come here. Even the poorest person give you a widow's mite. Your hand does not go into the pocket for nothing. Over to you.